You ever wonder what it's like to be related to a mega superstar? Well, today we're going to talk about Jay-Z and this whole fury that's circling the internet about him being asked to help his cousins with an investment. Welcome to the Finance Rebel Show. I'm Kamari Ellis. I love to talk about all things black money. The whole goal of the Finance Rebel Show is to make wealth black again. Today we're going to talk about this conversation Jay-Z had with Kevin Hart, talking about when he goes home for family dinner or holidays, where his people would ask him for money and what happens. It's a little bit of a twist at the end, so stick around to the end. So Jay-Z caught some flack about him loaning his money to some cousin, or loaning his cousin some money, right? And so we get all kinds of stuff about it. But I saw the clip before, but we'll go over it in a minute. But I wanted to show you this thing that was sent to me earlier, which I think is hilarious. All right, so the internets are interneting again, and they have all this opinion about Jay-Z and why he loaned or didn't loan or invested or didn't invest with his cousin's business, right? Supposedly he went to a family gathering, a holiday family gathering, and he's getting pitched for a play. And you already know how I feel about plays, but let's look at this. I'm going to show you this thing that was sent to me. All right, so Jay-Z has $2.5 billion. His cousin asked for $4,800, and he said no. To put that into perspective, that's the equivalent of someone who made $50,000 a year being asked to give a dime. I find that hilarious, but let's get back to it. And so, again, the internets are buzzing because Jay-Z said no, right, to his so-called dime. I love how everybody loves to count other people's money where they really don't have any perspective on how much time, work, effort, blood, sweat, and tears that it took that person to make said money. But let's talk about it some more. Here's Jay-Z on Kevin Hart's podcast talking about this actual event.
Not professionals at navigating how to communicate from that space.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like you'll have people that where you come from, if you behave in a certain manner, it's not accustomed to where they are, right? Some people haven't evolved past 16. They still stuck in that.
Anytime you hear a person that's 35, 45, 50, 60, and all they can do is talk about what they did in high school, what they did many years ago, you can kind of tell they haven't evolved. That's a major clue. Now, don't get me wrong. We could always celebrate and reminisce on the past a little bit. But if that is what your only conversation is, you can tell that person is not evolved.
Place, but you evolving every year. Mm-hmm. So that may be a threat to them. Subconsciously or consciously, Kev acting funny because you have to navigate that. Mm-hmm. You have cousins. You got to go home for Thanksgiving and people are talking to you like Kevin Hart. And you going home for solace. You want family.
You're going home for peace of mind.
You're going home for peace of mind.
And they don't give you that
your
because
cousin
you're not
your cousins in your grandma's living room saying, yo, man.
Now, I mean, that's what family's supposed to be about, right? Going home for solace, for family, for reconnecting with the roots, with your peoples. A lot of times that's not what happens. But let's get back into it.
I got this play. I want to, if you just give me, you know what I mean?
Anytime you hear somebody say they got to play, run away.
4,800, I could make you 2 million. You like, it don't work like that, fam. But you got to explain to him like life isn't like.
So there's a word that comes to mind, entitlement. Ever heard of it? If you have, tell me what you think about it in the chat. Well, I think it's really important that we talk about words and their meanings. Words matter, right? I see people misuse words all the time, and it creates confusion and miscommunication. And I don't want to do that with you all. So let's talk about this word entitlement real quick. So entitlement, E-N-T-I-T-L-E-M-E-N-T.
Entitlement. Entitlement.
Entitlement. Now, let's blow this up a little bit just so we can read it, the definitions, just to make sure we're all on the same page. All right, entitlement, the act of giving or the state of having a title, right, or claim to something. Now, if you're familiar with the dictionary, which I know everybody in my audience is, you know that words often have several meanings, and you can't just go off of the first one, right? So the second definition, a provision amount to which one is entitled. A government program such as Social Security or employment insurance that provides a benefit to eligible participants or the benefit provided by such a program. Definition number 4, the justified assumption that one has a right to certain advantages, preferential treatment, etc. Here's a definition, or here's an example rather. Their sense of entitlement, I don't want to call it arrogance, makes dealing with some people difficult, said the senator. All right, so that is the definition of entitlement with an example, right? So a lot of people have rendered this opinion about Jay-Z, his cousin, his family, and have come up to the conclusion that Jay-Z should give him his dime, as it was referred to before, or the $4,800, or rounded up $5,000 to make it easy. But they haven't worked for it. But let's look at a little bit more history. Brian Biggs, cousin of Jay-Z, being sued for allegedly scamming Roc Nation gaming investor. Well, we got a cousin here. I don't know if it's the same cousin. Probably not, right? And I'm going to be honest, I didn't do a whole lot of research on this because I think it's crazy. But Jay-Z, Roc Nation are being sued because allegedly Brian Biggs started to collect investor money because Roc Nation was supposedly, allegedly going to start a gaming division. And they said that all these celebrities were going to co-sign it and be a part of it, and it never happened. And this one investor sued, alleged investor sued, about $250,000. And actually, that was settled in 2020, December of 2020, not too long ago. But again, a lot of people just look at this thing real cavalier, real easy, real quick. They don't really understand the weight of having a successful business, being a successful brand, and bringing a person into a business, because they're always going to have extra magnifying glasses on them, meaning that attention is going to be on this person. But nobody thinks about that. It's just, oh, give the money. But give the money. Let's say Jay-Z gives the money, and then it costs you even more money. So how much money should Jay-Z give? Put that in the chat for me, right? How much money should he give? Because at the end of the day, every time you enter an investment deal, you are taking on a level of risk. You have to ask yourself, does Jay-Z want to be linked with that risk? Or should he just give the money, the $4,800 or the $5,000 freely, right? Now, I haven't, again, like I said, I didn't do a whole lot of research, but this Brian Biggs is Jay-Z's cousin. He works at Roc Nation to some capacity. I don't know what capacity, but he already has a job. So he's already benefited from Jay-Z's work, probably getting paid some kind of way, right? But yet and still, this deal or scam, whatever, alleged scam, is still costing Jay-Z money. So he got into this deal, this alleged deal, and it's still costing him money, even though he didn't really sign up for that, allegedly. So again, when a person goes into business with someone, it's more to them than just what's on the surface. It's always deeper. And celebrities, people with money, Jay-Z's alleged to own or have a net worth of over $1 billion. He has to think about those things. Every time he walks out the door, somebody wants to sue him. So if you know that you are always a target, you got a big target painted on your back, how are you going to react to this? How are you going to handle this? And do you know that every interaction you have, friend, associate, family member or not, brings you a potential heightened level of exposure? What do you do?